Welcome back to the Accountability Hour, the podcast where we tackle double standards, self-improvement, and the messy realities of relationships. This is Lynn Watchhorn. Why do people gradually cut you off, or ghost you even? And this can apply to any relationship that you have. She didn't dump you, she didn't block you, she didn't say, "we're done." But something's off, and you know it. She stopped showing up, her calls and texts less frequent. She postpones all of your guys' plans or even just cancels them. And the messages you send her just go unanswered for days. This is what some people do instead of ghosting. They do it more slowly so you don't notice it right off the bat. But they're still not giving you formal closure. I know people are going to be like, well, no one owes you closure. Yeah, that's true. But it still hurts to not get it. And I think in a lot of cases, all it takes is a quick text or a call or something. And it can really help the other person move on. I feel in most cases that's the best route to go, just really quick, even if you block them right after. Because the lack of a clear break, it keeps you in limbo. You can obsess over it. You're constantly overthinking it. You overanalyze every little thing you said and did, trying to figure out the why. And in some cases, if it was a friendship, a family member, or in relationships, it hits worse. Because it creates that sense of unfinished business. It's been known that if you don't finish something, your brain sits there and replays it. Because your brain doesn't like uncompleted tasks. Okay, so why do people do it? Avoidance of conflict. They don't want to confront you. They don't want to have those conversations. Maybe they owe you an apology. Maybe they treated you badly. They don't want to have to own it. So in some cases, throwing away the entire relationship, everything you guys built, seems easier. Next, maybe they genuinely are guilty and they know they're pulling away, but they don't want to see your reaction because that can be hard to see. And this reason I hate, they're selfish. They want to keep you as an option without committing. Because if they just gradually cut you off, they can come back in a little bit easier. But if they confront you on something, that terminates the relationship on both sides. So they maintain a position of control in this situation. And this can cause reinforcement for you because the occasional crumbs keep you hooked on them. So all this time you're wasting thinking about the situation, analyzing it, Googling it. And they know exactly what they're doing behind the scenes. And if you're already an anxious person, it just makes everything worse because you'll be overthinking it. So what are the signs you probably already know, but slower replies, shorter responses, excuses for not meeting up with you? And I mean, this stuff can be legit. Everyone goes through stuff, but if it's more long-term, that's usually when the red flag comes in. Maybe they have social media activity with everybody except you. Or they're giving you flat responses. You share some exciting news with them and they're just kind of like, oh yeah, that's cool. It's important to notice these things early so you're not constantly pouring energy, time, and even resources into them for a one-sided connection. And a lot of us are guilty of this. We sit there and pour into people. We give everything we can, and then we start to notice it's been one-sided for a while, and we could have poured that effort and time into somebody else that was worthy of it, who deserved the effort. So the better that you get at noticing it, the more you can conserve your energy. And also, you don't want to build that resentment up with yourself, because if you go through this a lot, you might beat yourself up over it for months or years. You'll think about all that time, money, and effort you wasted, or you feel like it was wasted on them because they're not reciprocating. They don't want to have a relationship with you. And you know you could have poured that same effort into something else, whether it's yourself, your hobbies, and you would have gotten more out of it. If you start to suspect your relationship is going this way, stop yourself from initiating and ask yourself, how often would we actually talk or see each other if I wasn't the one bringing it up? Have they matched your effort in the last month? And it's one thing if they're going through some stuff, but a lot of times, they're not. And we almost want to come up with reasons for them to make ourselves feel better on why they're not reciprocating, when it might be as simple as they just don't want to. Why you should never, ever chase in these situations. And I know that's so much easier said than done. Some examples, you double text, you're sending novels and they're sending one word or one little sentence replies. You're over apologizing for random stuff. that you didn't even do. Maybe you're overcompensating. You're giving them gifts, lots of compliments, or even doing favors for them. Unfortunately, when you chase, it lets them know they have all the power and control in the relationship, and it lowers your value in their eyes even more. They see you as less than, they might see you as desperate. And it's ridiculous, but that's naturally what happens. And then they'll turn you into a backup plan because they know you're available. They know all they have to do is send a text or a call and you'll do anything for them. And some people, unfortunately, will take full advantage of that. In these situations, stop reaching out. At least for a week, 2 weeks, a month, whatever it is. Let them go first. Try to figure out new routines and new hobbies and just get your mind off of it. And one thing is sometimes you have to replace what you're doing. If you have a habit of scrolling through their social media, or you used to spend maybe an hour on the phone with them, replace it with something else. So you don't feel that urge to, pick up the phone and call them, or sit there and scroll. Also, if you're looking at their social media, you're more likely to overthink every single post you see, and sit there and try to analyze something that may or may not even exist. And this is going to be really hard. It's going to feel like withdrawal, because it is. That's one of the reasons why we sometimes pursue people who aren't right for us, because that roller coaster of feelings is really addictive to our brains. They're nice to you one day and then they ignore you for 2 days, and you don't know when you're going to get that response, and it's exciting, and your heart starts beating really fast when they send that text. So pay attention to those kind of things, because once you get stuck in that cycle, it can be hard to get away from it. And I know for some of us, we don't want to feel like we're abandoning this person because we genuinely care about them. So you might have to remind yourself, you are not being rude to them. You are not being cold by not reaching out. You have to take care of yourself first. It's like when you're on an airplane, they tell you, put your oxygen mask on first and then help others if they need it. And both people should be putting an effort in the relationship. It shouldn't always be one-sided. While I'm a firm believer conversations need to be had, sometimes you can't really have a discussion with them if they're slowly pulling away. That just makes you look kind of crazy if you're sitting there keeping track of, it took them this many minutes to respond to me. Some of these people who are doing it on purpose, if you point it out, they get more defensive. And then it makes everything more awkward, and then they'll pull away even more and even faster. So this is one of those situations where you actually might need to mirror their energy. If they text once a week, you text once a week. Or you can choose to just opt out of the relationship completely. You can set boundaries. Don't volunteer to do things for them if they aren't doing things for you. Avoid, checking in on them and seeing how they're doing. Because that can be a form of emotional labor as well. And then also that doesn't bring out the realization to them that you're willing to walk away potentially. And it's sad it gets to that point, but people respect what they can't always have on a whim more than what's always there. And also, you can go out and do something fun so you have more to talk about when they do reach out. It makes you more interesting. Let them notice your absence and don't flaunt it or bring it up. Just do it. Like if your girlfriend cancels last minute, don't rush to reschedule. Wait for her to suggest the next time. If someone you used to hang out with all the time stops inviting you to places, start filling up your days that you normally would go out and do something fun, whether it's by yourself or with others. Maybe sign yourself up for some classes on something you're interested in so you can get to know some new people. And if you decide to have a conversation with them at some point, only bring it up if you know the relationship is salvageable and it's strong enough to handle this. Sadly, a lot of people out there are avoidant and they're not going to directly talk to you about the situation. So you have to make sure that they're going to probably feel comfortable with you talking about it. Instead of saying you always do blank, say something like, I've noticed we haven't been talking as much lately. Is that intentional? Or are you okay? See how you're not accusing them. It's kind of soft, but you're still kind of bringing it up. And it gives them the chance to be honest. Ideally, you're dealing with a mature person and they'll just be honest. If there was something wrong, you did something, you said something that offended them, that will be the opener and you guys can discuss it. Try to accept whatever they say without begging them. Now, if they keep it vague, it might keep you on the hook so they can reach out later. Some people will intentionally do stuff like this so they can keep you on the hook for what you provide. That's why they have no investment on actually addressing the issues you guys have. And they won't ever bring up anything that bothers them because it could, terminate the relationship, and they don't want that. And try to set your life up in a way that one person's absence doesn't collapse your whole world and your existence. I know a lot of us like to keep to ourselves, and we like to have a couple really strong relationships. That's the ideal. But if you only have like 1 or 2 strong relationships in your life, and one of them collapses, you're gonna struggle. So at least build up the relationship you have with yourself so you feel safe and comfortable even if they're not around. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who might benefit from it. If you'd like more content from me, I have a YouTube and a Patreon.